فتاو قفلوا وفتاو بسبب شمس السكن. ناس القاعدين بيلفوا بميكروفونات وناس مدارس اللي عندهم اعلانات مشي لهم زياره قلنا لهم قالوا هاجي دي شهر 4 الجاب شهر 2 فوق شنو؟ قالوا الله اذا ما مننا قرار طلع من الوزاره قال كلفته مدرسه في شهر 2 فعشان كده قاعدين نعمل اعلانات بتاعنا ودعايه بتاعنا نسجلوا ناس وهنينا شغالين شغلنا. يعني ما ممكن وزاره التربيه يقول قال يفتحوا مدارس شهر 2 وشهر 2 ده هو زمن شمس السكن معروف وثلاثه ذاته شمس سكن معروف. ده تاني يجي يقفلوه يفتحوا زي بتاع السنه الفاتحه ما كويس. فانا برجو انه يكون في اعاده نظر كده في القرار ده لانه السنه اللي فاتت جربوه كده عمل كلام ده، السنه اللي فاتت قبل يجربوه عمل كلام ده، لم يسال انا بوصلوا زي ده. الناس لازم يكون عندهم في دراسه كويس قبل البدايه بتاع اي شيء ويكون في مؤتمر مع الخبراء بتاعت البيئه ذاته وبتاعت الاحوال الجويه انه السنه ده بكون كيف وكده كده كده.
Sounds of the Week on iRadio, your eye on South Sudan. Live from Juba, on air and online.
This is iRadio News.
Hello, this is iRadio News. First, here are the headlines. The African Inland Church has strongly condemned the killing of Reverend Christopher Maring, who was shot dead by armed robbers at his residence in Juba on Wednesday. The governor of Jonglei State has appealed for unity among the people of the state amid reports of renewed clashes in parts of the region. And South Sudan has entered the digital hospitality era with the introduction of Ayen, the country's first ever service robot at the Pyramid Continental Hotel, marking a major step in the adoption of artificial intelligence within the shuttle service industry. This is stories and more coming to you in this news bulletin with me, Lasuba Memo, and now the news in detail. The African Inland Church, AIC, has strongly condemned the killing of Reverend Christopher Maring, who was shot dead by armed robbers at his residence in Juba on Wednesday evening. Speaking to iRadio, the deputy presiding church leader of AIC, Martin Moga, has reported that Reverend Christopher Maring described the incident as a brutal robbery that claimed the life of a devoted man of God. According to him, 4 armed robbers entered Reverend Maring's residence in Gudele-Wand at around 7:30 p.m. local time while his wife and children were at home. The assailants held the family at gunpoint and demanded keys to the bedroom, believing there was money inside the house. He reported that the children gave the robbers some money, but the attackers were not satisfied. While 3 of them searched the rooms upstairs, Reverend Maring arrived home and opened the gate, unaware that the robbers were already inside. Claric Moga narrated what happened.
The information we got from the wife of the late at the time when the robber brought in her presence. So, and identified 4 armed robbers. They introduced They enter into the room of Reverend Christopher Maring in his own residence at Gudele-Wand. So ordered the family members at the gunpoint, including the wife and the children, to give them keys for the bedroom of late Reverend Maring, so that they take for money. The children gave some of the money that they have, but they are not satisfied. While 3 robbers, they enter in, searching for more money in the rooms upstairs. Then Reverend Maring arrived and opened the gate without them knowing it. Then 1 robber was hiding behind the gate, attacked Reverend Maring immediately, shot him in the stomach. Then when others heard the fire, they came and he started shooting in random and killed Reverend Christopher Maring instantly.
Moga clarified that the killing was not targeted but rather the result of a robbery. AIC leadership through the Central Church Council in Juba condemned what it described as deliberate and evil acts against innocent citizens and religious leaders. The charge called on the government of South Sudan to ensure the safety of its people and to thoroughly investigate the incident. Martin Moga said Maring will be remembered as a dedicated servant of God who served both in Khartoum and Juba and was widely known for his humility, generosity and care for vulnerable.
So African church leadership in the Central Church Council in Juba condemned such unfortunate, deliberate, evil acts targeting men of God. We call upon our government of South Sudan to protect his citizens and deliver justice to this and call evil acts. So don't leave any stone unturned until you investigate the roots of such matters who intended to take valuable lives of innocent citizens. Yeah, the late will be remembered for his services to the Lord, his good gestures, lovely life to the people of South Sudan. He's a well-known person, a good clergy to everyone. He served the Lord for the rest of his years. He started from Khartoum up to Juba. People know him very well by his services to the Lord. He cared for the vulnerable. He served generously without being tired for the Lord's services until he died on.
Maring's death has left what the charge described as a very big gap in AIC leadership. Reverend Maring held a senior clerical position that often leads to higher leadership within the church. Although there were no immediate plans to ordain him as a bishop, the church noted that such promotions depend on God's will and continued service. The African Inland Church expressed solidarity with the bereaved family and called on believers to remain vigilant, promote peace, forgiveness and love, even in the face of violence. Meanwhile, one of the armed assailants involved in the killing of Reverend Christopher Maring has been wounded by an stray bullet during the attack and later apprehended. The South Sudan Religious Leaders Forum confirmed this in a statement sent by iRadio this morning. The forum said on Thursday that Reverend Maring, a senior cleric of the African Inland Church, was killed at his residence in Gudele, Juba after armed men forcibly entered his home and confronted his family. According to the forum, when Reverend Maring responded to the disturbance inside the house, he was beaten and shot multiple times. During the attack, one of the bullets struck one of the assailants, who was unable to flee and was later arrested and taken to hospital for treatment, while 5 others escaped. In a strongly worded statement, the South Sudan Religious Leaders Forum condemned the killing as heinous and cowardly and described it as an attack on the church and the sanctity of human life. The forum urged the government of South Sudan and security organs to act swiftly to ensure accountability. Reverend Maring was described as a devoted shepherd, humble servant and a voice for peace whose death has left a deep void within the church and the nation. The Religious Leaders Forum extended condolences to the bereaved family, the leadership of the African Inland Church and congregants across the country, calling on citizens to reject violence and uphold respect for life. The statement was signed by Archbishop Dr. Paul Benjamin Ugusuk, chairperson of the South Sudan Religious Leaders Forum. The governor of Jonglei State has appealed for unity among the people of the state amid reports of renewed clashes in parts of the region. Speaking during a visit to Twitch East County, as part of his state-wide tour, Governor Dr. Riagai Kok urged communities to put aside divisions and stand together against insecurity. Addressing the youth in Twitch, the governor said he was proud of them and called on them to join hands with their counterparts in Uror and other counties. He stressed that communities along the Nile should live and share together, warning against ethnic or sectional divisions. The governor said the state government is working to reunite communities and bring back those who have fled, describing them as brothers who will return home. He also acknowledged that some criminal elements are still active, but assured the residents that authorities are taking action.
Nai County even أنا مبسوط منكم أنتم يدكم إخوانكم من غرور لو في خير في البحر ده وكله سوا لو في جريمة جايكم صدوا بالبلد كلكم ما في الفج ما في اللو ما في البور ما في الغول ما في الغول ما في النروي حتى نحن كمان شغالين مع بير إنه تقول أخوانكم هم رأيوا يجونا في مجرمين تدلوا لكن مجرمين دين بنجيب خبرهم بنعمل قوة في كل بلد في غلبيكا في فرنسيكا في وريون في كوكا.
According to Governor Riak, a strong security force has been deployed in the areas of Goliar, Poktab and Faraksika to confront criminals and restore peace. This is IRD News. Ambassadors of regional states and major donor countries have called for peace in South Sudan following a meeting in Juba early this week. The diplomatic corps shared grave concerns about the state of peace and stability in the country on Tuesday. They said, and I quote, "We agree on the urgent need for immediate action by South Sudanese leaders to advance peace through inclusive dialogue. President Salva Kiir and First Vice President Dr. Riek Machar have a central role to play in this process." End quote. They said the statement was supported by ambassadors and representatives from the embassies of Canada, France, Germany, Japan, Norway, the Netherlands, Sudan, Uganda, the United Kingdom, and the United States, as well as the delegation of the European Union. They added that their commitment is to continue engaging with South Sudanese authorities and all stakeholders in support of peace and stability. The National Minister of Energy and Dams, Agok Makur, has pledged to work with his ministry's team to ensure electricity is extended to all parts of the capital, Juba. Speaking at his reception ceremony earlier this week, Minister Makur said that after electricity is successfully connected throughout Juba, efforts will focus on expanding power supply to other states. He emphasized that the government has the capacity to provide electricity to the entire capital. Makuri affirmed the ministry's commitment to resolving electricity challenges faced by the citizens. He said,
هنقعد مع القيادات بتاع وزارة الكهرباء ووزارة الطاقة والسدود وهنتفاكر معهم ونناقشهم في كيفية انه ننقذ المواطن من الوضع السيء اللي هو قاعد يمر به. حتى داخل جوبا التغطية على الكهرباء ما وصلت كل المناطق. في مناطق الآن في جوبا ما عندهم كهرباء. في الوقت اللي عندنا إمكانيات نوصل لهم الكهرباء. وده طوالي إحنا ممكن يكون ده بداية العمل. إنه نكمل الكهرباء بتاع جوبا وبعدين ننتقل للكهرباء في بعض الولايات. على الأقل يكون ده جزء من الخطة الأولية بتاع وزارة الكهرباء في المرحلة الجاية. إنه نحن لازم ننور جوبا نولع جوبا. لو ولعنا جوبا هنولع بعض الولايات إن شاء الله.
Before international news, South Sudan has entered a digital hospitality era with the introduction of Ayen, the country's first ever service robot at the Pyramid Continental Hotel, marking a first step in the adoption of artificial intelligence within the local service industry. In a statement released on Wednesday, the management of Pyramid Continental Hotel announced the addition of a service robot to its food and beverage department. The move is designed to blend world-class technology with the hotel's signature local service standards. The introduction of Ayen marks a significant milestone in how local businesses are adopting artificial intelligence to enhance efficiency. According to a statement released by the hotel management, Ayen is not a replacement for human staff but a strategic addition designed to optimize the guest experience. The hotel stated via its digital platform, and I quote, Ayen will be joining our team to support food and beverage operations, assisting with service delivery and enhancing your overall guest experience, end quote. The senior service robot is equipped to navigate the hotel's dining areas, delivering orders and assisting with logistical tasks that allow human servers to focus more on personalized guest interaction. The move has already generated significant buzz among Juba's business community and international visitors alike. Management has invited the public to witness the future of service firsthand, stating, "We can't wait for you to meet her." As Juba continues to grow as a regional business center, the arrival of Ayen serves as a clear signal that South Sudan is ready to embrace the global digital revolution. This is our radio news. And now to the international scene, here is Madrama James.
Thanks to my colleague Lasuba Memo. Here are some of the stories making headlines in the region and beyond. Polls opened this morning in Uganda's presidential and parliamentary elections, though voting has been disrupted by logistical delays in many parts of the country amid an internet shutdown. The BBC said it observed growing frustration among voters queuing at some polling stations in the capital Kampala, where voting had yet to start. The delays have been blamed on the failures of biometrics identification kits, which some have linked to the internet outage, as well as lack of equipment in some places. In the presidential race, Yoweri Museveni, 81 in power since 1986, is seeking a 7th successive victory as he faces a challenge from a charismatic pop star. Elsewhere, the Trump administration is placing an indefinite pause on immigration visa processing from 75 countries, further restricting the legal routes for entering into the U.S. The State Department on Wednesday said that the administration wants to bring an end to the abuse of the system by those who extract wealth from the American people by using welfare and public benefits. President Donald Trump has sought to limit both illegal and legal crossing into the U.S. since returning to the office, and his administration has already halted immigration visa processing for people from Brazil, Iran, Russia, and Somalia. The order takes effect on 21st January, but a full list of the 75 countries has not yet been released. And finally, Denmark's foreign minister said that there is a fundamental disagreement with the U.S. over Greenland after talks at the White House. Last look, he said the meeting with the Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio on Wednesday had been frank but constructive. But he added that the U.S. President Donald Trump was insisting on conquering Greenland, which was totally unacceptable. Trump afterwards reiterated his interest in acquiring the resource-rich island, a position that has rattled allies across Europe and stoked tensions with the NATO. These are some of the stories making headlines in the region and beyond. Back to you, my colleague Lasuba Memo.
Thanks, Madrama James. This is iRadio News. Now to the world of sports. Here is Darlington Moses.
Good afternoon, Lasuba Memo. Let's turn to sport table. In Africa Cup of Nations 2025, Morocco, Sadio Mane scored the winner as Senegal beat Egypt to reach the final of AFCON and leave Mohamed Salah still waiting for his first continental title. Mane struck the only goal of a contest with 12 minutes remaining in Tanger, firing a low right-footed shot inside the left-hand upright after the ball broke to him outside the box. It marks the third occasion that the Senegal forward has got the better of his former Liverpool teammate in a high-stakes international match. Both of those previous wins came 4 years ago as the West Africans beat the Pharaohs on penalties in both the final of the 2021 AFCON and a playoff for the 2022 FIFA World Cup. Host Morocco survived a nervy night in Rabat to see off Nigeria 4-2 on penalties to reach the final. Youssef En-Nesyri struck the winning sport kick into the bottom left corner after Yassine Bono saved from Samuel Chukwueze and Bruno Onyemaechi. The result means Walid Regragui side have reached their first AFCON final since 2004 as they beat to lift the trophy for the first time since 1976. In Premier League update, in English League update, Arsenal took the upper hand against host Chelsea with a 3-2 victory on Wednesday at Stamford Bridge in the first leg of the English League Cup semi-final. The win puts the Gunners in a strong position to reach the final of the domestic competition. The return leg between the two sides will be played on February 3rd at the Emirates Stadium. Real Madrid were knocked out of the Copa del Rey by second division Albacete in Alvaro Arbeloa's first game in charge. Albacete caused a major upset after beating Real Madrid 3-2 on Wednesday to reach the quarterfinals of the Spanish King Cup. The shock defeat comes just days after Real Madrid lost the Super Spanish Cup final 3-2 to the arch-rivals Barcelona, a result that led to dismissal of Xabi Alonso and the appointment of Alvaro Arbeloa as the new head coach. Thanks, this is all in the world of sport. And back to you, Lasuba Memo.
Thank you, Darlington Moses. This is iRadio News, and to end this bulletin, here is the recap of the headlines. The African Inland Church has strongly condemned the killing of Reverend Christopher Maring, who was shot dead by armed robbers at his residence in Juba on Wednesday. The governor of Jonglei State has appealed for unity among the people of the state amid reports of renewed clashes in parts of the region. And South Sudan has entered a digital hospitality era with the introduction of Ayen, the country's first ever service robot, at the Pyramid Continental Hotel, marking a major step in the adoption of artificial intelligence within the local service industry. That's the end of iRadio Afternoon News. If there's a story or an event you'd like iRadio to cover or report about, please send us a text message at +211 925 287 It's also our WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba, like our Facebook page iRadio, subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for the news in Arabic at 1:30. I am Lasuba Memo. Thank you for listening.